WNDS Sports and the Massachusetts Bowling Association present Candlepin Skins. It's Candlepin bowling like you've never seen it before, and now with increased prize money. Your hosts for Candlepin Skins, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Good afternoon again, everybody, and welcome for another edition of Candlepin Skins from Pilgrim Lanes here in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Another big crowd has gathered, and we're glad that you're gathered too in front of your TVs to join us here. It was every Saturday at noon for Candlepin Skins, and what a story has developed this year. And we're glad that you could join us for this one. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. I don't know how much more we can say about Tom Morgan, but this is a record-breaking appearance today.
Perfect 10 today. Number 10 for him, and he's just been unbelievable. And last week, 7 consecutive marks the second game to 309 for 2 games. What more can we ask for him?
I don't know, but maybe we'll find out today. Let's meet our bowlers and get a look at them before the match begins today. First of all, our returning bowlers, having finished respectively 2nd and 1st in total pinfall a week ago, John Lang from Rockland, Massachusetts, and Tom Morgan from Revere.
Okay, and John averaging 120, and Tom, well, he says he's averaging 128, averaging a lot more than that on the show.
Well, almost lost in the 309 last week was the fact that John Lang rolled a 287. That's not exactly a low score either for 2 games.
That's for sure. I mean, he was just as good. He made some terrific spares, too, if you remember. And he could have been right up there with 300, too.
All right, our incoming bowlers this week come from a North Shore area roll-off, and they are from East Boston, Bruno Defeo, and from Amesbury, Massachusetts, Rico Baldinelli.
Okay, Bruno comes in averaging 126, and Rico is at 119.
All right, now let's remind you of the rules here on Candlepin Skins. If you were with us last week, you saw great examples of the rules because we had a lot of carryovers and a lot of dramatic skins money being won. So here's how it works. We have our full 4 bowlers on the show, and they compete individually 1 box at a time. Each box has a dollar value assigned. That is the skin value. The high score in each box wins that dollar amount. If there is a tie for the high score in a box, whether it's strikes or spares or whatever, then the dollar amount carries over to the next box. Now, we bowl 2 games during the hour. The top 2 bowlers in total pinfall for the 2 games get to return week after week, and that's why Tom Morgan has been here since early October. The box-by-box money goes this way. The first 3 boxes in each game are worth $20. The next 3 worth $25. Boxes 7, 8, and 9 worth $30 each. And the big 10th box in each game is worth $75. I hope you've been with us throughout this stretch the last several weeks. We've seen some incredible bowling and some very exciting stuff. We're looking forward to more of the same today, and we'll be back with the first of our 2 games on Candlepin Skins right after these messages.
Candlepin Skins is brought to you in part by Tri-State Megabucks, and now with Mega Cash. Choose your dream.
Well, the roll-off for this week here on Candlepin Skins, as we mentioned, from the North Shore area, held at the Linway Recreation Center in Lynn. Rico Baldinelli was the overall #1 finisher, and Bruno Defeo also qualified for the show with a 654, and you see the 3 guys who just missed are 3 through 5 finishers: Mark Gallant, Dave Purcell, and Gene Taylor. But Rico and Bruno qualified 1st and 2nd to advance, and they will get us started here on Candlepin Skins. Are we calmed down from last week yet? Are we ready to do this now?
I'll tell you, that is, well, let's hope we can duplicate that type of show. That was a great show last week. A little bit of everything, high scores, great shots, carryovers. It had everything.
Bruno Defeo from East Boston. Rico Baldinelli from Amesbury. Almost. Couldn't carry the 2-pin. Eight box for Bruno. And a 9 for Rico. And we are underway. And now we will get a look at our 2 returning bowlers from last week's show. How about a debut for John Lang? You know, we talked so much about Tom Morgan and what he's accomplished, but John Lang was just terrific last week. He ended game 1 with a triple strike, and he begins this week with a strike.
All you do is talk about it.
And Tom almost took the skin away. He took that a number of times last week.
That's right. Away from John, too. Very nearly took that one away, but he'll get the spare, but John will get the skin in the first box.
Worth $20, and he gets it on this strike. As I started to say, John ended game 1 last week with 8 marks in a row, including a triple strike in the 10th. 162 opening game last week for John Lang.
Rico will shoot at the 2, 4, and 5. Off target for Bruno, but he'll shoot at the 1, 3, 8, and 10.
Nice spare on the triangle for Rico Baldinelli. Bruno off target with his second ball. And he will take an 8. Another 8. A reminder that Candlepin Skins is brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save. Route 97, Salem, New Hampshire. Tom Morgan now on a spare. He'll take 7.
John trying to throw a double strike, and he does. My, oh my. He hasn't forgotten from last week.
Oh, and a nice spare for Tom Morgan. Here we go again. Double strike for John Lang to start the match.
Last week it took him a long time to win his first skin. This week he's going right at it. Couple strikes, couple skins.
John needs to get over on Candlepin Stars and Strikes where the triple strike pool is growing.
Right. Right through the middle, Bruno. 1, 5, and 8. Rico on a spare, just 2.
Oh, how about this? Oh, what a shot by Bruno Defeo.
Great try. That 10-pin fell to the right instead of the left. He might have carried the 9 for the spare. That would have been a fantastic spare.
Yeah, nice effort by Rico. $10 for Bruno. And Rico was trying to just clip the end of that wood and just missed it for an 8-box. All right, here we go. John Lang shooting for a triple strike. No, off the head pin this time.
He drops 6, a makeable spare in the 1, 3, 7, 8. Wood in front of the 7, 8. There's a strike.
So Tom takes the skin this time, worth $20. John for the spare. Wow, great effort. Not quite, though. Still, though, he has 57 through 3 with the double strike. 55 make it. 55 through 3 for John Lang.
So our 2 carryover bowlers, Tom and John, are off to a roaring start here. Week number 2 for John and week number 10 for Tom Morgan.
Good first ball for Bruno Defeo. Look at that pin slide. That 5-pin slid a long way.
It just kind of twirled and walked itself over into the 8-pin. Let's see if he can somehow get that ball to move into the 10-pin. Doesn't get the real good angle, but oh yes, nice. He does.
First mark for Bruno Defeo. Well, it's nice to see him get that, Dan, because he probably deserved a single pin lead the way that 5-pin moved over.
Just kind of capped the wood, sent the wood in to the 10-pin, and before it did that, cleared the 5 and 8 out.
Tom Morgan now on a strike. Tom and John have quickly moved out to the top 2 spots here in the early going. Still a long way to go, but off to great starts here.
Tom is just in cruise control right now. He just, every ball he throws on the head pin. Gonna shoot at the 5 and the 8. Try to go spare on strike. 4 consecutive marks. Yes, it is.
And to take the lead in the match. Last week, Tom had 7 marks in a row to start the second game.
Of course, that creates a carryover because Bruno had a spare up as well.
Oh, nice 10 for John Lang. Take another look at that. The 1, 4, 6, and 7. Would have made it without the wood. We have our first carryover of the day, so the 5th box is worth $50. Oh, Bruno with a tough break on his spare.
Just 4 pins. And the big strike by Rico.
His first strike of the day. Bruno could get this. Let's see. Nope. And for the 10 box, 50 through 5 for Bruno Defeo. Rico Baldinelli with this strike up in the 5th.
So everything clears out but the 5 pin, and then something from behind hits the 5 for the strike. Well, we have at least a carryover. If one of these bowlers, John or Tom, can throw a strike, and one down.
Tom on a spare. Uh-oh. Streak may end here. Just 3 on the fill. The skin goes to Rico Baldinelli, a $50 strike. Boy, he gave that a great effort, though.
Certainly did. After just getting 3 with the first ball.
9 for John. And a hard-working 10 for Tom Morgan. Tom leads in total pinfall. This is not a recording. 80 through 5. 74 for John Lang. Bruno Defeo at 50 and Rico Baldinelli at 49, but has 2 bonus balls to come on that strike in the 5th. And we will have a $25 skin in the 6th when we return to Pilgrim Lanes after these words.
Candlepin Skins is brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota, Dodge, Nissan.
On your left, Rico Baldinelli. On your right, Bruno Defeo. Ready to bowl in the 6th.
Rico working on a strike. This time 4 horsemen left plus the 9 pin. Piece of wood in behind the head pin and the 2 pin. Should help.
Well, Bruno is going to have a split also, but let's see where the wood ends up for him. No go for Rico. He'll take 8 on his strike.
You can go left-hand tip of that wood out in front and have the ball take the 4 pin and the wood take the 6. Let's see what happens.
Nope. Nine for Rico Baldinelli. And 8 for Bruno Defeo, who really is yet to get on track here. A reminder that Candlepin Skins is brought to you in part by Coca-Cola. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola. I'm a little thirsty, actually, myself.
Actually,
now that I mention it.
Just talking about it, I feel like a nice Coca-Cola.
Tom Morgan with a thin hit, but he kicks out 9.
You can see the huge crowd in the audience here. It's growing each time we have our tapings. One in particular fellow I like to mention from Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Danny Ellisy is here in the audience. He's a big fan of Stars and Strikes as well as Candlepin Skins.
We had a chance to meet Danny before the show began. Always nice to meet fans who get a chance to come here and watch the show. That's a carryover. The spares, John Lang and Tom Morgan. Here's John's shot.
7-10. Look at all the wood, never moved. He's 1 piece of wood and the ball took the 10.
Mentioned Danny Ellisy, who is here along with the big crowd here at Pilgrim Lanes. I'd like to say hello also to some folks who aren't here but who are with us every week, every Saturday and Sunday. Oh, strike for Rico Baldinelli. We understand that every Saturday and Sunday, promptly at noon, a large crowd of folks gathers at the Polish American Club in Newmarket, New Hampshire, to watch Candlepin Skins on Saturday and Stars and Strikes, of course, on Sunday. And we want to say hello to everybody at the club in Newmarket. Nice 10 for Bruno. But here's the strike for Rico Baldinelli.
That's the 2nd strike of the match. Won a skin with it last time and stands to win another one unless John or Tom can throw a strike. And I don't give these guys much chance of throwing strikes. They usually don't throw that many. Well,
John kind of dropped that ball a little bit.
Yeah, left it out to the left. That was on a spare also, so let's just give him 4 on that spare.
Tom working on a spare too. That's a pocket hit, and he will take 8.
So give the skin to Rico.
Worth $55.
Found the secret.
Oh, great spare.
Throw a strike and win a skin.
John Lang made some great shots a week ago, and there was another one. And a spare for Tom Morgan. So John and Tom put up spares, but strike takes the skin, and here's John Lang's spare. Terrific shot.
It's almost making him routinely last week and this week. As you mentioned last week, it just doesn't seem anything is safe up there with John Bowling. He can feel like he can make every shot he's faced with.
$30 skin here in the 8th. Rico working on a strike. He may have a shot at a spare. Bruno will be working on the diamond.
Rico's got to take both pieces of wood. That's what he's doing, and not enough to carry the 10.
Not quite for the diamond leave for Bruno. $9 for Rico. Bruno records a 10. That will bring John and Tom up again, and again, both on spares. And with 10 leading for this skin. Well, Tom was joking last week. Of course, he had that huge score, 309. You saw the total prize money that Tom has won in this incredible run he's had, but he only won $20 last week. He had 14 marks. There's a strike for the skin for John Lang in the 8th. And a spare for Tom Morgan. Wow.
Take a look at this one. 7-10 uses the wood effectively for both the 7 and the 10. You go 3 consecutive spares, and he opened with 4 consecutive marks, 2 spares, strike, spare in the 1st through the 4th frames. I don't know what happened in the 5th frame.
Tom had 14 marks last week and won only $20. Big first ball for Rico, but not a strike.
Could have easily been a strike, though.
Another $30 skin here in the 9th.
Bruno having a tough go over this first game.
Uh-oh. Rico misses the single. Now Bruno trying to make something happen, trying to get the 10 bucks. Settles for just 8. And that's the shot Rico wanted. He'll take a 10 bucks. So again, John and Tom step up. As you see, they both are running 1 and 2 again. Right now it's Tom in first, John second. Wow. John working on a strike. Tom on a spare. And he throws a strike. And there's a $30 skin in the 9th for Tom Morgan. Oh, my. Oh, my.
That close.
Good for a 9 fill, though, for John on his strike. And it didn't look like he would have as good as a 9 fill. How about Tom Morgan's strike? 4th mark in a row.
Just tripping that 6-pin.
Tom, 4 marks in a row, then a 10 box, now 4 more marks in a row.
Ho-hum.
Yeah.
It's business as usual for Tom Morgan.
Well, the 309 that he had last week was the highest 2-game total he's had in his 9 weeks, previous 9 weeks. And he's starting out today like he wants to break that 309.
It may be the highest 2-game total we've ever had.
Well, actually, I take it back. Tom had a 315 a couple of weeks ago. So he's gone 315, 309 the last 2 weeks.
Remember, folks, that's for 2 games. That's just amazing bowling.
8 bucks for Bruno Defeo. Bruno was really never able to get out of the chute here in this first game.
No, I don't think he bowled that badly either. He was hitting the headpin pretty regularly with that first ball, but nothing really to shoot at. Was able to manage 1 mark back in the 4th frame.
Just got another look at the Rico Baldinelli spare. Now his fill. getting a pretty good mix, and he'll take 7 for a 121.
Not a bad opening game, but he's going to find himself considerably behind John and Tom in third place. As you can see, Tom 146, but he's got 2 bonus balls coming, and John at 137 through 9. Tommy Morgan first. Remember, there's a spare up by Rico for the skin. And boy, it's going to take a shot if we're going to have a carryover. Tom is going to shoot at the 2, 7, 6, and 10.
Possibilities, though. Oh, wow. Well, Tom's going to have to settle for a game in the 160s. He had 2 games in the 150s last week. A 10 and a 165 for Tom Morgan. And John Lang with a 9 and a 146. So Tom Morgan and John Lang keeping it going from a week ago. We'll see if either Rico or Bruno can catch them. Rico takes the $75 skin there in the 10th. And we'll be back for game 2 after these messages. We're back on Candlepin Skins. Rico Baldinelli up at the top of the Skins prize money list with $180 so far. John Lang has checked in, so has Tom Morgan. Bruno Defeo still looking for his first skin. And Bruno Defeo will throw the first ball here in game 2. Bruno's got a lot of ground to make up in 4th place.
Well, he's been with us on the other show, and he's a competitor. I didn't think he was bowling that badly. They may start to go for him the second game.
Well, he's got a spare leave here to start game 2.
Well, that's the way to do it, is to try to get out of the gate as fast as you can the second game and relax and start throwing a few marks.
Once again, though, it's a situation much like last week where John and Tom are going to be very, very difficult to catch. So they both got out of the gate with big scores in game 1.
You just wonder how long they can sustain a streak like this, but they don't show any signs of letting up.
Well, first of all, let me make one correction, Dan. We talked about Tom Morgan's 309 last week. That is, in fact, the highest 2-game total he's had in the 9 previous weeks. The week before, he had 291. I thought that he had gone over 300 the week before, but he had not. He had a 291 2 weeks ago, then the 309 last week. Tom has been in the 290s 3 times, though, in this streak. He's averaged just under 134 per game.
John for the spare and the carryover.
There it is.
The wood. I wonder if his uncle would have played it that way. Barry, maybe he's smarter than you and I. Although I probably would have done that now.
John and Bruno's spares do create the carryover, and box number 2 will be worth $40. Rico Baldinelli.
Tough leave in the 2-4-10.
Now Bruno Defeo working on only his 2nd mark of the match.
This time missing the head pin, but leaves the 1-3-6 and the 7-pin.
Bruno for the spare, not quite on the 10.
Good effort, right behind the. Flipped the 2-pin right behind the 10, almost converting that spare.
Candlepin Skins produced in cooperation with the Massachusetts Bowling Association. And our tapings held here at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Mass. And right next door to Pilgrim Lanes, Romano's Pizza and Subs. So if you're in the area, right on Primrose Street near the intersection of Route 125 in Haverhill, Romano's Pizza and Subs. John Lang on his spare. Ooh, just 5.
And his reaction tells it all. He thought he had a little better than that. You know, I was just about to say, hold on to your hats, because Tom Morgan might be open 2 frames in a row. Wrong.
Wow.
How wrong I was. What a great shot by Tom Morgan.
John has to settle for a 7 box. Here is the shot by Tom Morgan for the spare.
And that deserves the skin.
And it does for $40 for Tom on the carryover. So he's got $90 now. Bruno Defeo. Bruno's been looking at splits all day.
He has.
Oh, strike for Rico Baldinelli. That looked like it was going to be a rather ugly split, too. And all of a sudden, it turned into a strike.
With the wood situated between the 3 and the 6, Bruno's got a shot at this.
Oh, wow.
Not today. Even the crowd trying to urge it to fall down. That close to a spare, but close in this game does not count. It's not like horseshoes.
How about the strike for Rico Baldinelli? Watch the last 2 pins to go down here.
Oh, wow.
Whew.
That's 4 and the 10 pins. Well, Rico stands to win this skin unless one of these 2 bowlers can throw a strike. Hello.
Oh. What were you saying?
I said we're going to have a carryover.
Tom Morgan with just 3 on his spare fill. This will only be the 4th open box of the match for Tom Morgan. He only had 7 open boxes a week ago. Here's the strike for John Lang that creates the carryover. 6 and 9 toppling simultaneously. Well, that is a bulletin, just a 6 box for Tom Morgan, but he's got a huge lead.
Rico looking for the double strike. Leaves himself the triangle, 2, 4, 5.
Actually, I should say Tom has a huge lead on 3rd place, which is what you worry about. His lead over John Lang isn't that much. But, of course, 1st and 2nd both come back. Rico gets a spare on his strike. Carryover skin worth $45 here in the 4th. Bruno for his spare, and he'll take it.
So again, we'll have a carryover unless one of these bowlers can throw a strike.
Tom Morgan will be first to throw. Tom now well over $2,000 in prize money in this run. Uh-oh. Going to be a strike? No, it'll be a carryover.
Almost. Everything but the 8 pin for John Lang. Tommy Morgan.
There's your 2 boxes in a row.
Diamond leave.
Open for the 2nd box in a row. Oh, John Lang can't convert the single. Couple of 10 boxes for John and for Tom, so an opportunity for Rico and Bruno to gain a little ground. And as you can see, Rico's still within striking distance, 28 pins out of 2nd, 197 to 169. Could use a big fill here, though.
Both bowlers can. Bruno will go first on lane 4, working on spare.
Rico now for his fill. Lost it to the right. Not too bad considering they're still falling. 7 on the spare. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes, although the 10 pin would be the one in doubt here.
Yeah. He's going to have a run at it. Oh, boy. Great shot by Bruno Defeo.
Wow. Rico disgusted with himself, as you can see on that shot. And it's still there for 9 bucks. Take a look at that shot by Bruno Defeo, the 4, 7, 9, and 10.
Very nicely done. He's in 4th position now for total pinfall, so he needs to continually mark.
John Lang, wow, look at that leave. That was a pretty good ball. 5-10. Tom Morgan, he'll have a spare lead.
Yeah, the 2-4-7 piece of wood in between the 2 and the 4.
Let's see if John can make something happen here.
Oh, yeah. He can. That would actually helped him on that, on the 5-10. Great spare. Tommy also a spare. We got another carryover.
We do indeed. We are going to have a $6 on the carryover worth $95 when we come back to Candlepin Skins after these words. We are back. Candlepin Skins brought to you in part by Tri-State Megabucks, and now with Mega Cash. Choose your dream. Tri-State Megabucks. Rico Baldinelli dreaming of a strike.
His bid for the strike comes up short, leaves just the 6-pin. Bruno working on a spare.
Big Phil, 8 this time. He'll have a chance for his 3rd mark in a row. Now Rico uses the wood to his advantage to get that single. He didn't intend to, though.
And the crowd lets him know.
And Bruno gets his. Rico had missed a single back in the 9th box of the first game. This time he was able to use the wood to help convert. $95 skin here in the 6th.
As you can see, our leaders in total pinfall both are working on spares. Tom will go first, and then John.
Tom needs that 10-pin to kick out, and it does.
I was going to say, with the angle of the wood between the 2 and the 4, you'll probably still make it, but that makes it a lot easier. Yeah, just 2 for John.
So we're going to have another carryover. Tom Morgan adds another mark. He still has time to get up to 300 again for the 2nd week in a row.
All of a sudden, that John can't make too many mistakes. Rico is working on a spare, as is Bruno, and trying to chase that 2nd spot.
Well, let's see. This 7th box now worth $125. You see, we've had a carryover since the 3rd.
Well, it'll be nice for somebody to win, but I think they're thinking of that pinfall right now. Hopefully, top 2 come back. And right now, Tommy Morgan's sitting on top, then John, but Bruno just 5. Rico strike on spare. That was a big strike, not only toward the big skin, but also total pinfall. Bruno's streak ends at 3 marks in a row, 3 spares.
Takes an 8 box. He's at 90, but this strike by Rico Baldinelli puts him right in the battle for 2nd, as he is coming up to challenge John Lang now. You see John still with a box in hand.
Yeah, leading by 3 plus the box in hand, but it's opposite a strike by Rico, so he's going to shoot at the 1-3-7-8.
Rico's going to take that $125 skin unless Tom throws a strike on top of him. He does not. That's a 2 fill for Tom Morgan and a $125 skin for Rico Baldinelli, who's up over $300 now. John Lang takes 10. Tom Morgan takes 8. Again, the cumulative 2-game totals are at the bottom of the screen. You see Tom Morgan still in 1st, but look at the battle for 2nd. 228 for John Lang, 215 for Rico, but Rico has 2 bonus balls coming on a strike. Oh, great spare. Rico Baldinelli making a charge here. 3 marks in a row for Rico. Nice effort there by Bruno Defeo, using that wood to the extreme left-hand side of the lane. But how about this shot for the spare by Rico?
This is huge. The strike was big last box, but this is even bigger. It's a lot of pressure now on John. John needs 7 pins just to tie him, but remember, Rico still has the fill coming on the strike. I mean, on the spare, I should say.
I'll tell you what, Tom Morgan may want to think about another mark.
Right. That's right.
In the last 3 boxes. 2, just to be safe.
Well, John's got a shot at the 1 and the 2. There's only 5 pins separating him and Rico.
It looked for a while like Tom Morgan was going to be just in the bag for another week next week. That's a big spare for John Lang. But Tom is open again, and his lead will shrink further. Remember, he had a 165 opening game, but if John Lang throws a strike on his spare, it's going to be tied. And, of course, Rico is only 3 pins behind John. Very interesting. We had a carryover there in the 8th, of course, with the spares. So the 9th box worth $60. But this is one of those cases where we're watching the total pinfall very carefully.
Bruno looking for the strike, and he just can't buy one today.
Rico just 5 on his mark. That's critical. Because he needs to keep marking.
See what Bruno can do with the 4, 8, and 10. Play the wood out front. No, not enough to carry the 4.
And Rico misses the object pin, hitting for his 4th mark in a row. So advantage John Lang right now. Both Rico and Bruno take 10s. But of course, this gives John Lang the opportunity now to know that Rico is open, and he's got a big spare fill coming up here.
Yeah, you can't make a mistake on this spare. If he were to get a decent fill on another mark, really put a lot of pressure on Rico going to the 10th. It's right in the pocket. That's huge.
Yeah. Strike on spare. That ties him for first place with Tom Morgan also. And Tom, as we mentioned, may be wanting to think about putting a mark up here just to be secure.
Makeable spare here in the 6-10 with 2 pieces of wood.
Got it. That's big. That is big. But so is this strike for John Lang. It also wins him the skin for $60 in the 9th. Our last skin of the day will be worth $75, but we've got a great battle here.
Rico needs a mark, and he's going to have the shot at the 4 and 7.
Needs a mark with a big fill on it just to have any chance.
Yeah, I'm not even sure a mark is going to help him. Really, a double strike is probably what he needed, but you never know. But he definitely needs this to keep himself alive.
Nope.
Oh.
So Rico Baldinelli's comeback bid will fall just a little bit short. And Bruno gets that spare in the 10th.
And I'll tell you, he's worked hard all day long.
Rico a 9, a 138, and a 2-game total of 259. Bruno Defeo's mark, just getting the tap on the 7-pin. And Bruno will fill out his mark now. But with just 2, and that kind of illustrates what his day has been like. 120 and a total of 214 for Bruno Defeo. So it's going to be John Lang and Tom Morgan again returning, but it was a little closer this time.
And Bruno still leads for the skin in the 10th frame with a spare. One of these fellows would have to convert for the carryover.
Nope, Tom couldn't, although it was a heck of an effort. Let's see if John can get his. He does, and that keeps everybody alive.
Tom gives him a high five. He kept them all alive.
109 for Tom Morgan and a 2-game total of 274. John Lang will have to stay up there to finish his mark in the 10th. And John Lang is going to finish first here this week with a 140 and a 2-game total of 286. So he came from 19 pins down after 1 game. 286. Did I say 296? It's 286 for John Lang. And now all 4 bowlers will stay in it for the last skin of the day. 286 for John Lang, 274 for Tom Morgan. John came from 19 pins down at the start of the 2nd game to take first place. Now, the extra skin, the last skin of the day.
Boy, boy, Bruno cannot buy a mark, or buy a break, I should say.
Should mention, too, that Bruno is the only bowler without a skin today.
Well, he's going to probably have to go far right, catch both pieces of wood, but there's no guarantee then.
No. Boy, it just isn't that kind of a day for Bruno. If Rico makes this, Bruno's out of it. There it is. So Rico is still alive for this last $75 skin. John Lang and Tom Morgan advance together once again.
One of them needs a spare or a strike to win the skin. A spare to stay in it. Of course, only the two that tie now continue, or three.
Oh, there it is. That ends it. Tom Morgan, maybe a little consolation for last week when he finished 4th on the money tote board. He gets an extra $75 with that explosive strike in the 10th. Tom finishes 2nd this week, John Lang 1st, but they will both advance once again as the beat goes on for Tom Morgan. We'll be back to talk to the bowlers and give you the final numbers on this one when we come back in a minute. Welcome back to Candlepin Skins. The total pinfall numbers in this one. John Lang with a big 140 second game to go with his 146. Finishes on top at 286. Tom Morgan close behind at 274. Rico Baldinelli, a terrific second game, 138, just falling a little short of second place. Bruno Defeo never really got started today. Let's take a look at the pinfall, or rather the skins winnings now. Rico Baldinelli, in spite of his comeback falling short, gets on top of the money list at 305. Tom Morgan and John Lang win their share, and it was a tough day for Bruno Defeo. I know he probably isn't happy with the way things went, but boy, he threw a better ball than the score indicated.
That's right. Sometimes you can bowl good but not score, and that's what happened to Bruno today. We've seen him on the other show, and he's a quality bowler, and just didn't have it today. As
for the two guys at the top, well, more of the same from last week. Let's talk to them both. First of all, Tom Morgan, come on up here. 274. A 109 second game, but the first game carried you through that time as everybody was charging at you at the end.
Yeah, thank God for the first game. They were coming hard, too. I said, if Bruno thought, Rico, if he throws a big ball in the 9th box, there, all the pressure's on me at that time. He ended up missing the head pin the first time, I think, at 2 strings, and that way I got a mark the next box, so that kind of opened it up for me.
In that first game, though, 8 out of 9 marks to start. That's a pretty nice way to start the match.
It sure is. That ball's been working pretty good. Hit the head pin, I'm getting a lot of rolls so far, and hopefully it continues.
So when do you get your own show now?
That's up to you. I know I have nothing to say about it.
It'll be number 11 next week. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Doug.
That's very good. It'll be number 11 in a row for Tom Morgan next week. Let's talk to John Lang now. John, the big story today, finishing at 286 and coming from 19 pins down in that second game to take first place. Boy, you look very comfortable out there also. We talked about this last week. You seem to like this place.
Love this place. Love it. Put it on the head pin and take your chances, you know. Rico put on a hell of a finish at the end. I mean, he comes strong.
Especially for you, though, the strike ball seems to be working. You had the triple last week and then a double to start today.
Yeah, just put it on the head pin, see what happens.
Yeah, you just throw it and hope, right?
Hope, pray.
It'll be number 3 in a row for you next week, John, as you and Tom continue to pair up here.
Follow him anytime.
That's right. He's a good guy to follow right now. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
All right, John, thanks a lot. John Lang and Tom Morgan, again, returning next week. And as we say, Tom Morgan broke the record today for consecutive skins appearances with 10. He's going to add to the record next week, number 11.
That's right, number 11 coming up, and he's fellow there, Mr. Lang's tagging right along with him.
All right, we hope that you will join us, of course, next Saturday at 12 noon for the next edition of Candlepin Skins. Don't forget, tomorrow at noon, Dave Arsenault goes for his second straight win on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. That's tomorrow at noon here on the Winds of New England. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great weekend.